Hi everyone, welcome to our channel. My name is Naila. I'm a public health educator that's here to share tips and knowledge with you and ways to access the care that you need while saving money in the process. I decided to create a new segment from my last video I did on my miscarriage. I received so much feedback from you guys. It was really comforting to go through something traumatic and find out that you're not alone when you're not alone going through that experience and other people have gone through it. It felt like some type of community, which was great. Decided to create this segment called Journey to Motherhood in Your 30s. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Naila. I'm a public health educator. Today is a very special day. Today we have Ericka Wallace, who is a certified health coach, specializing in women's and reproductive health, with a master's in nutrition. Welcome, Ericka.
Hi.
Hi, welcome to my channel.
Thank you for having me on your channel.
Found you out on Instagram. We know someone in common and she connected us.
And that was an awesome day.
I mentioned earlier that you are a certified health coach. Can you please share with everyone a little bit about what you do and why you decided to go into the field of helping women conceive?
I would like to steal a quote from Maya Angelou. She says that I'm interested in women's health because I am a woman. Mm-hmm. I'd be a fool not to be on my own side. And I really love that quote because that 100% encompasses, why I decided to pursue this, because certainly within the US and within our community, the Black community in particular, maternal health outcomes are lower than the rest of the world and lower than our counterparts within the country, than white women. Considering fertility and reproduction, to be supported from what we call, preconception all the way through conception is very important for the health of the mom and the health of the baby and even the life of the baby, because your health and your genes, all those things are established way back when. So just having great maternal care, even preconception care, is very important to get moms and women, established for healthy pregnancies.
So when I saw you on Instagram, I saw from your Instagram and your website that you said you're talking to women over 30, you got the bag, now get the baby. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Yeah, when I was coming up with that, so that's the title of the fertility course that I created. Yeah. And I wanted to speak to women who are, like myself. So when I first started trying to have a baby, I was the person who, career, and I was traveling and I was having fun, and, husband and I, we were just enjoying being married. And so when I came up with the title of the course, to be able to have your life established and have, kind of your ducks in a row, is a great time to then start to try for your family, to start your family. Age 35 is when you are considered to have a geriatric pregnancy. So to wait and to choose to wait is certainly your right as a woman. And, as you and perhaps your partner are trying to figure out, when you want to start your family, there are so many factors that go into planning and having a successful pregnancy. And so a lot of times, we have things kind of, all the details ironed out, like to the smallest detail. And so with fertility and with conception, sometimes it feels like it's out of our hands. But so the course that I created, I wanted to put some of that power and that sense of control back into a woman's hands as she's trying to become pregnant.
Okay, so can we emphasize the bag means the money, right?
As the term goes, yeah, when people say I got the bag, like that's like the money, right? But in this case, it can apply for everything. Anything that you have decided for yourself that you wanted to focus on 30s, and now you're ready to try to start your family. Yeah. So yeah, the bag can be anything that you have secured.
All right, so you mentioned in women in their 30s, trying to have a baby. But what about someone who's like me? Well, I am in my 30s. I'm in my late 30s. So a person like me who's in her late 30s, who wants to have children, what are some things that I should do, or any other woman who's like me, who's in the same situation, What should we do to prepare ourselves for preconception care other than taking prenatal vitamins?
Yeah, that is a great question and very well said. Yeah, it is more than just taking a prenatal, because as women, we are born with all the eggs we will ever have. You know, men, they're making sperm around the clock, basically. So that means that the environment that our eggs are living in, you know, as we mature, go through puberty, and, you know, we're into our adult years, that's kind of key for establishing egg health. Some people say, you know, you hear the term, your body is your temple. Well, for your baby, your body is everything for them. Be able to approach preconception care from that lens. Like, I need to establish the best environment possible for this little teeny tiny little thing that, you know, I'm about to house in my belly, you know. So even as we get older, age is a factor, yes, but because it's not the only factor, part of the course that I created talks about this, kind of a method that I call the START method. So that looks at your eating style, cycle tracking, your mental approach, your daily routine, as well as time. These are still tools that you have access to on a daily basis to kind of work on. So cycle tracking is kind of one of the big ones. Some women don't time intercourse appropriately, and they are frustrated, or they may become frustrated that they're not becoming pregnant. Looking at cycle tracking to understand your cycle, when you're fertile, when you're ovulating, those kind of things are really good to have a handle on, as well as your eating style, to see if you have a pro-inflammatory diet. Are we eating the right nutrients? Prenatals are kind of supposed to, you know, or all supplements kind of fill in the gaps sometimes. Really, it is diet and what we eat on a daily basis that should be the foundation of our nutrients.
Sorry for cutting you off. You said something that I think is really important. When you mentioned cycle tracking and making sure that you hit it on the day that you are
That's right, yes.
Ovulating. And for other people out there, how would you know when you are ovulating, when you're fertile? I know some people use apps. Myself, I use apps.
Yeah.
How accurate is an app? Like, should you use those apps?
Right.
For finding, like, realizing if you're fertile or ovulating? Or what do you need to do to focus, like, you know, listening to your body? What are some signs that that we should actually look out for to know that we're fertile or ovulating?
Yeah, that's definitely a great question, and I'm glad that you mentioned the apps, because, you know, we have our watches that are tracking our steps and our calories. Okay, I can trust my watch to do that technology to do that for me. If I'm trying to make a baby, I'm gonna need to kind of have a literal, you know, grip on it myself. You know, my hands need to be in it, literally and figuratively. I say that because part of cycle tracking is checking things like your cervical fluid, or the technical term is cervical mucus, checking your cervical position as it moves up and down throughout our cycle. It changes firmness, it becomes more open to allow sperm into the cervix becomes open to allow sperm in. Normally it's closed down, like, you know, we don't want any bacteria. But the third one is your temperature. So maybe you've heard of basal body thermometers. So these measure your temperature down to like the second decimal, in fact, and you're looking for shifts in that. Those actually to confirm that you have ovulated, so which is also part of it all, right? It's not as much as a predictor, but these are tools, these are things that we can do at home. You know, you should be doing them every day if you're really trying to track your cycle every day with consistency to monitor what's going on with that body. I like to focus on the fact that I'm supporting reproductive health, and reproductive health is for women whether or not they're interested in becoming a mother. Reproductive health is health. So even for a woman who's not trying to become pregnant, if these signs and symptoms are off, that can still indicate that maybe something is out of balance. Maybe it's the diet, maybe it's stress, maybe it's, again, inflammation, maybe it's hormones, you know, from our environment being so disruptive to our hormones. So by using preconception care, you're given an opportunity to get ahead of things sometimes, instead of waiting to, okay, I've been trying for a year, 6 months, let me go to the doctor and find out what's going on. If you are tracking, if you are monitoring yourself even beforehand, you will understand that maybe my hormones are a little out of whack. Maybe this really bad PMS is kind of a symptom of something else too. In general, that's what why it's really important to have preconception care, even before you potentially fall into a situation of having fertility challenges. One of the signs of, healthy fertility, cervical mucus is one of them. There are 3 to 4 different stages that kind of fluctuate during our cycle.
Mm-hmm.
The most fertile, the most hospitable to incoming sperm is when the mucus or fluid turns into a stretchy egg white consistency. So it should be clear and slippery, and if you were to roll it on your fingers, it would stretch for you. Right. That's the most fertile cervical fluid. And again, these are in the preceding days to ovulation. So your fertile window is basically a week long, coming up on your ovulation by checking your cervical fluid. So yeah, the app is there to help you narrow down the window or maybe remind you to start paying attention, but doing your own self-check is very important and know what these changes are month after month. You might miss it the first, especially checking your cervical position. That's kind of tricky. But you'll start to get to understand, like, okay, firm, is that firm? Is it firm like the tip of my nose, like the cartilage of my nose, or what? Again, you'll start to understand your body and how your cycle goes.
And then how long would you say that sperm can live in your body? Like when you're trying to develop that?
Yeah. So again, back what I was saying about, cycle tracking, and, some women just may have really poorly timing intercourse, right? So sperm can live up to 5 days. And because of the magic that is cervical mucus, sperm is living, right? And our pH and everything is like to kill any invading species, including sperm is considered an invader at the time. But cervical mucus allows sperm to bypass that. It actually nourishes the sperm and protects them from the acidic pH, and it gives them somewhere to swim into, right? Sperm can live up to 5 days because of cervical mucus. Better or best to have sex before you ovulate because of this wonderful 5-day window. So the sperm is allowed to wait out and be ready to kind of jump on it, as soon as that egg is released, because the egg starts to disintegrate 12 to 24 hours after it is released. So it's better to have sperm waiting there before ovulation than the reverse, because are you 12 hours or are you 24 hours? You don't know how long that egg really is kind of sticking around for. So let them do the work. Yeah, it's millions of them. You have one egg and there's millions of sperm that are, released. So let them do all the work.
You mentioned your fertility course earlier. Can you please share more details about your fertility course that you are that you have created, and how can we all get a seat?
Definitely. So the course is a 2-part course, and I basically present things as I've kind of done today. I really want women to get excited about their body, and maybe you won't find it as interesting as I do, but it is such valuable information to understand what's normal. That's such a dirty word, but what is normal and what should be expected, and where do I fall on that range? Is this problematic or not? And so teaching women about their bodies and their cycle, especially again, this all important time of our lives when we decide, okay, now's the day that I want to start trying for a baby. This should be an exciting time. And so to eliminate any clarify any confusion and to teach women, the best way to support their body is really all that the course is about. So again, 2 parts. You get to participate in a Facebook group to, be surrounded by other women going through the same thing. Because this can be for anyone who is just now trying to start their family or even have been trying for a while, and even for women who are using assisted methods, because egg health is so important to the journey of each baby, because again, it starts with the egg. In the course, I talk about the 120-day egg. So even though you are ovulating this month, that egg started to develop and mature 120 days ago. So how can we tap into that window and make sure, again, our environment, the baby's environment, is optimal, and how do we adjust things in our diet, in our lifestyle, our sleep, how to reduce the toxins in our life, and then basically, allowing women to put in their energy into, something that we don't think we can plan for. Fertility just kind of happens around us sometimes. It's like, oh, my cycle is just kind of happening month after month, but really it's something almost tangible. Again, we talk about cycle charting. It's a tangible thing that you can participate in on a month-to-month basis. So the course is set up for women who want to find out more about their bodies and find out how they can, start their families.
When does the course start?
The course starts January 23rd, so that's coming up in a few short weeks, and it will be, hosted virtually, of course, and women students are allowed to, save the materials that they're provided and, take it to study on their own, because, the START method is laid out. There's no 1, 2, 3, 4, there's no order to it. There are some techniques that maybe you want to try out right away. I certainly suggest charting. Start that right away. Detoxing, start that right away. But again, each woman can either, start how they want to start. And then certainly, because it is a journey, this is something that you can start working on to prepare your body even now. Maybe you don't want to start your family for a while, but these are things that you can start doing, as I say, or I didn't make it up, but, you stay ready so you don't have to get ready, so that's kind of what I like to encourage women to do also.
All right, Ericka, so I appreciate that you have come to my channel. How can everyone find you and be your next clients?
I am, as you mentioned, you found me on Instagram. So yes, I'm on Instagram at mooncatching. And I have my website, mooncatching.com. And these are great places to find me. You can send me a DM on Instagram, shoot me an email on the website. Send me some questions if you want to do an intro call with me, just to ask some more clarifying questions about, working with the program with me, or working, specifically with the fertility course. Just shoot me some questions and I'll be happy to answer them.
Mooncatching is the name of your website and your Instagram. I mentioned with other people who I talked to, and asked them about how they can come up with their name.
Yeah.
But I just found it to be really interesting. Like, how did you come up with the name Mooncatching for your business?
Thanks for asking me that. I really love talking about this. So the imagery of the moon and the power of the moon. So many cultures, talk about this and participate in, harnessing the power of the moon. So if anyone who's ever worked on a maternity ward, they may joke, oh, it must be a full moon tonight, because the moon literally affects our physical being. And for women, that can be from anything from, causing, your due date to be today, or within our cycles, it can affect our cycles. We are very much tied into the energies, and the way that our cycles flow can be influenced by the moon. And even the idea of, catching the moon, for women who are struggling with painful periods and fibroids and, maybe even infertility or fertility challenges, the idea of harnessing that power, or even just catching a small bit of it for yourself, would be an amazing thing, because you would be able to pursue these things that seem so intangible. Yes, so the idea of catching the moon will allow people to harness some of that power from themselves and grab things that they, for now, may think are unreachable or unattainable. So I just want to encourage and, give life to that idea that anything you want, you can have, and to encourage positive thinking and to encourage women to take charge of their health and their fertility, and they can start making these transformations that they so desire.
Thank you so much, Ericka, for coming to my channel. I hope you can come back, to talk more about women's and reproductive health.
Absolutely. Again, thank you so much for inviting me. And clearly, this is my passion. This is what I love to do, and to help women start their families. So, and you giving me a space to talk about this has been really great. And I hope someone can benefit even just from one thing that I said today.
You gave a lot of great information. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.